Imagine this. A grandfather builds a company from scratch. Through sweat, long nights, and sacrifice, he creates a fortune. His children inherit it. His grandchildren enjoy it. But his great-grandchildren? They're back to where he started. Broke. This cycle has a name. It's called the shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves curse. And it's not just folklore. It's a financial reality. Today, we're diving deep into why 80% of generational wealth disappears by the third generation. Across the world, from small family businesses to massive fortunes, the pattern is strikingly familiar. The first generation works hard, saves, builds, and creates something of real value. The second generation, usually growing up in comfort, tries to maintain that success, but they don't always expand on it. And by the third, they often lose it all. The stats are harsh. 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation and 90% by the third. How is this possible? It's not because of bad luck or random events. The problem is deeper. The issue lies in the habits, the mindsets, and the lack of preparation passed down or not passed down between generations. Let's start with the first generation, the wealth builders. These are often immigrants, entrepreneurs, or individuals who grew up with very little. They've experienced struggle firsthand. They understand the value of every dollar because they had to fight for everyone. Hard work, sacrifice, risk-taking, and discipline are the pillars of their success. These individuals don't take wealth for granted. They budget, invest, and often reinvest in their businesses. They build their wealth through sweat equity, delayed gratification, and smart decision-making. But there's something many of them don't do. Teach the next generation how they did it. The second generation usually grows up with more comfort. They've seen their parents succeed, but they may not have lived the same struggles. Maybe they were raised in nice homes, went to private schools, and took vacations their parents never could have dreamed of. And while they respect what their parents built, they don't always understand what it took to get there. This generation often falls into the trap of maintenance. They try to preserve the wealth, but without the same hunger or experience. They may become dependent on the family business or inheritance instead of carving their own path. Without proper financial education or responsibility, they might spend more than they save, or make investment decisions based on comfort rather than strategy. By the time the third generation arrives, the family has been wealthy for a while. The original struggle is a distant memory, just stories told over dinner. This generation may never have seen the hustle, the failure, or the pain that built the fortune. Instead, they inherit wealth with little preparation on how to manage it. That's where the real danger lies. Without financial literacy, discipline, or guidance, money becomes something to spend, not something to protect. Lavish lifestyles, poor investments, no budgeting, and a lack of purpose can drain even the largest bank accounts. Add in inflation, taxes, and bad advisors, and that generational wealth starts bleeding fast. Let's look at some real-world examples. One of the most famous stories is that of the Vanderbilts. Cornelius Vanderbilt, once the richest man in America, built a railroad and shipping empire in the 1800s. By the time of his death, his fortune was estimated at over $100 million, billions in today's money. But just a few generations later, the money was gone. By the 1970s, not a single Vanderbilt was listed among the wealthiest people in America. What went wrong? Simple. The later generations lived extravagantly, had no budgeting plans, and made poor investments. They focused on appearances and status rather than sustainability. Another example is the Guinness family in Ireland, famous for the iconic beer brand. Their descendants became known more for their lavish parties and scandals than business leadership. Much of the fortune evaporated in less than a century. These stories aren't just about big names. They're happening quietly in families everywhere, Whether the fortune is $5 million or $500 million, the end is often the same without structure and planning. So what exactly causes generational wealth to vanish? A big part of it comes down to financial education, or the lack of it. Most schools don't teach kids how to manage money, and if parents don't fill in that gap, the next generation can inherit wealth without knowing how to handle it. That often leads to reckless spending, poor investments, and a sense of financial dependency instead of independence. Another issue is silence. Many families simply don't talk about money. Some think it's inappropriate, others worry about spoiling their kids. But that lack of communication creates confusion. If children don't understand the family's financial goals, values, or expectations, they're less likely to carry them forward. Instead, they're left guessing, and that usually doesn't end well. Then there's the planning, or sometimes the complete absence of it. Without wills, trusts, or estate plans in place, family wealth can get chewed up by taxes, legal battles, or mismanagement. The original wealth builder might have had a clear vision, but if they never put it into writing or created a structure to protect it, everything becomes vulnerable when they're no longer around. Entitlement can also play a major role. When children grow up always receiving but never earning, they start to expect wealth to last forever. That sense of entitlement, without the discipline or work ethic behind it, can quickly drain even the biggest fortune. Money becomes something they consume, not something they respect or preserve. And then there's family conflict. Money has a way of exposing tensions that were already there. Sibling rivalries, disputes over who gets what, or disagreements about the direction of a family business can all lead to bad decisions, lawsuits, and wasted resources. Wealth doesn't just disappear, it's often torn apart from the inside. The good news is, none of this is set in stone. Families can break the cycle, but it takes intention and effort. One of the most powerful tools is education. Teaching kids about money, how to save, invest, budget, and pay taxes at a young age sets the tone. When financial literacy becomes part of the family culture, future generations are far more equipped to handle wealth responsibly. Involving the next generation early is another game changer. Instead of keeping everything behind closed doors, bring your kids into business or investment discussions. Let them see the effort that goes into building and maintaining wealth. When they understand the why and the how, they're more likely to treat it with care. Having a long-term wealth plan is essential. That means working with trusted advisors, financial planners, estate lawyers, tax professionals, to build a solid structure. Trusts, wills, and clear instructions aren't just paperwork. They're the blueprint for how your wealth can survive beyond you. Families that thrive also have something else in common: shared values. Creating a family mission statement, something that says, "This is what we stand for," can anchor wealth to a purpose. Whether that purpose is giving back, supporting education, building businesses, or leaving a legacy, it gives everyone a reason to protect what's been built. It also helps to focus on purpose over privilege. Children who are encouraged to find their own path, earn their own income, and make their own impact are more likely to grow the family wealth instead of just living off of it. A strong sense of personal responsibility goes a long way. And just like companies hold regular board meetings, families can do the same. Holding open conversations about goals, progress, and education creates alignment. It's not just about transparency, it's about building a team mentality where everyone feels connected to the future of the family's finances. At the end of the day, legacy isn't just about what you leave behind, it's about what you prepare others to carry forward. The real goal of generational wealth isn't just handing over money, it's handing over a mindset. You can't assume your kids or grandkids will just figure it out on their own. You have to help them build the tools. Think of wealth like a campfire. The first generation gathers the wood, starts the fire, and keeps it burning. The second enjoys its warmth and adds a few logs. But if the third doesn't know how to tend it, the flame dies out and everything turns to ashes. This is why the so-called shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves curse, while common, doesn't have to be your story. Families that beat the odds are the ones that treat wealth with respect. They plan, they communicate, they educate. They don't see money as just comfort, but as a responsibility. So if you've worked hard to build something, or you dream of doing so, think beyond your lifetime. Build systems, build knowledge, build values. Because the money you leave behind is only part of the story. The real legacy is what your family does with it. If you found this video helpful, share it with someone who's thinking about generational wealth or wants to build a legacy that lasts. Drop a comment below and let us know. What lessons about money were passed down in your family? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on wealth, legacy, and smarter living. Thanks for watching. And remember, money is just the beginning. What you do with it, that's the legacy.